looks like we got part 3 on roasting Pauline Hanson. And you're probably wondering, part 3? What's this part 3? Why is there a part 3 to this roast? Well, according to the Sydney Morning Herald on the 10th of September this year, 2020, Australia Post Pauline Hanson in lockdown public housing. Australia Post Chief Executive Christine Holgate, who actually I think owns $2.5 million a month or something, I'm not entirely sure. Friends called police unless the City of Melbourne delivered more than 100 of Pauline Hanson's One Nation branded stubby holders. Reference, this is a stubby holder. Carlton Draft, very good. I will not drink any alcohol on my videos. This is from the AFL Grand Final 2001. MCG, the People's Ground. To every apartment in a lockdown suburban public housing tower in July. Now this comes days after, Senator Hanson had labelled residents of the Melbourne Towers drug addicts and alcoholics and can't speak English. Well, I can prove that, A, you can just use a translator app. And this is, yeah. So, Google, and I'll show you. Look at this. Translator apps. See? Translator apps. You just need one of these to actually speak with another person in a different language. Ask. Because you can actually go through every single one of these. Speak that language. To actually see if it matches up. And if it does match up, you can actually have a conversation with that person with the translator app going. Now the same can actually be said with iOS as well, because there are actually translation apps on there. Now you're probably wondering, what does this stubby holder from Pauline Hanson actually say? Well, and I quote, "I've got the guts to say what you're thinking." Okay, Miss Hanson, do you have the guts to actually say what I'm thinking? Because what I'm thinking right now is you're complete fucking stupid. Because if we actually look at the One Nation Party members, it's Pauline Hanson with 6 guys who should actually know better than to actually back someone who's actually a dictator of her own party. Federal members, Senator Pauline Hanson, Senator Malcolm Roberts, who's actually under investigation at the moment for actually not condemning Pauline Hanson's wording onto the Today Show. New South Wales members include Honourable Mark Latham, MLC, Honourable Rod Roberts, MLC. Western Australian members include Honourable Colin Tinkerbell, MLC, Honourable Robin Scott, MLC, and Queensland State members, which is Stephen Andrew MP, who should actually know better, considering that between 2011 and 2018, $6,000 was not disclosed in donations. And I do mean it was not disclosed at all. Because it was actually for a gun deal. Yeah. Received over $6,000 Donors. 2019 report found that Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party had received over $6,000 in disclosed donations from pro-gun groups during the 2011-2018 period, with concerns these donations threaten to compromise Australia's safety by undermining gun control laws. Australian gun lobby as big and cashed up as NRA reports fine. Yeah, considering that you are actually meant to undergo extensive review, and has actually come to my attention. Key points: pro-gun groups have donated $1.7 million to Australian political parties over the past 8 years. Bob Kerr's Australian Party was top represent, netting more than $800,000. Major lobby groups say it just represents the moderate centre of sporting shooters and is very different to the NRA. No, I'm sorry, but this is kind of like the NRA. Let's see. The report found the Sporting Shooters Association of Australia had almost as many members per capita as the National Rifle Association. That's about almost 200,000 members, or about 0.8% of the population. By compromise, the NRA has about 4 million members, or somewhere between 1.1 and 1.5% of the population. The SSAA has an estimated combined income of $18 million per year. The other big player in Australia gun lobby is the Shooting Industry Foundation of Australia. Established in 2014, Shooting Industry Foundation Australia is the peak body for firearms industry. According to a report, it received $1.2 million from its corporate members between 2014 and late 2018. Rona, Queensland firearms wholesaler and son-in-law of Bob Kerr, leader of the Australian Party. Wow. Yeah, just wow. Considering that Australia actually does have a very strict, and I do mean a very strict, gun law. Because high-powered weapons are not allowed anymore. Shotguns aren't allowed anymore unless you're actually hunting for sport, or you're allowed to hunt. If you have a hunting license, that's about it. But only one without a license, and you're virtually just screwing yourself over. Yeah, no. I'm saying no to this Colt, Colt M16-A4, as it's an assault rifle, a modular weapon system in US Army field manuals. And yeah, this is a high power assault rifle, which is actually not allowed in civilians' hands. Even in Australia, it'd be classified as a contraband weapon. So, back to the stubby holder gate labelling. 114 parcels were intercepted by the council while it was managing the week-long Victorian government-enforced lockdown of some 3,000 people spread across 9 towers in 2 separate estates in Flemington and North Melbourne and the city's inner northwest. Officials overseeing distribution of food, medical supplies, and mail at Canning Street, North Melbourne, opened one parcel addressed to the householder of an unoccupied flat and decided against distributing the stubby holders. Wait, so there's an unoccupied flat because no one was home? Open up and find propaganda? The paraphernalia would, sources said, inflame what was already an emotional tinderbox within the tower following Senator Hanson's comments on the 9 Networks Today program earlier that week. Wow, that's paraphernalia. It can also be considered as bribing for votes, as Miss Hanson's put it. And there was a note with no hard feelings. The stubby holders alone would have been enough to set the whole thing off. Literally the whole thing. If I got one of those stubby holders, I would have gone, this is the stubby holder from Pauline Hanson, watch me burn the shit out of it. The Melbourne Lord Mayor defended the council's decision not to distribute passes, saying the issue was handled in a professional and sensitive way. Given the highly distressing nature of the situation, the sense of pressure and intensity that our residents were under, our team made sure that we had to ask all the questions, made the right inquiries to relevant authorities, and receive feedback from them before taking any action. In other words, it's bribing for votes. And I would like to know, how the hell did Nick MacDonald actually get his grubby little hands on the information? Considering that A, those parcels are paraphernalia, they were sent in Australia Post, who was actually soliciting One Nation for votes, which means Pauline Hanson was actually soliciting and bribing for votes which was over 100 parcels. Now, there's unoccupied flats and such. If no one's there, they're not going to be sent back because it would be considered as a waste of time. And if it actually got back to Pauline Hanson that it was undelivered and it would be forced to be delivered, and no one's there, no one's living at that flat, it'll be egg on their face. Mainly the post office face. So, all this because one Deputy Labour leader, Richard Mills, said the revelations in The Age and the Sunday Morning Herald were astounding. He called on Ms. Holgate, Australia's highest paid bureaucrat, to explain why she went to such lengths for Senator Hanson while the rest of Australia had to wait and not see their mail delivered on time for Father's Day. Crossbench Senator Rex Patrick and the Greens' Sarah Hanson-Young also criticised Ms. Holgate's actions. Ahmed Dini, a social worker who lives in the Canning Street Tower that was locked down by the Victorian government to help stop the spread of coronavirus, said the stunt felt listless after Senator Hanson had maligned residents. It was meant to divide us, Mr. Downey said. We were coming together as a community to fight the disease, an invisible disease that was causing havoc, and she was taking shots at us. Low blows. He also went on, it would have caused more trauma, and it would have cost more anguish and anger for residents. He heard about Senator Hanson's parcels at the time, while under hard lockdown, and thanked the City of Melbourne for blocking their delivery. He was Godspeck. I probably shouldn't have been because I expected that from her, Mr. Darnay said. And I'm still quoting him. She was playing her narrative that we were incapable, that we were migrants that didn't speak a word of English. No, Pauline, we're Australians just as much as you. We're proud to be Australian. Senator Hanson said on social media on Thursday the situation was a storm in a stubby holder. Again, reference, stubby holder. Again, reference, example, Pauline Hanson, dictator of One Nation Party. Oh look, here's Madam's I'm taking him down, whip me if I get done in. That is what she is going to do. Local not-for-profit AMSSA Youth Connect led a donation drive to feed and support the tenants who were barred from leaving home for any reason. Ahmed, who is a spokesman for the community group, said it was a slap in the face and an attempt that caused a reaction from the tenants. It's quite deliberate. She shows she knows exactly what she's doing, especially going through what they went through to have her try that stuff on them was really, in a sense, try to trigger them or try to anger them. She's literally trying to push a couple of buttons. Yes, the followers of Pauline Hanson are stupid. I'm labeling them stupid. Reason why is because A, they're actually following a dictator who cares about nothing. She wants to close the borders to Australia completely from people who want to immigrate to Australia, which actually goes against the Commonwealth laws and human rights laws. Because if it goes back to the UN, the person for Australia who's actually representing Australia at the UN would actually be arrested, charged, asked all these questions, still charged, thrown in front of the World Court, and then condemned to jail, along with a arrest warrant for Pauline Hanson, if, God forbid, she goes into power, because she won't be able to do fuck all. And I do mean she won't be able to do fuck all, because she has no plan. Oh, let's just close the border to Australia, no immigrants allowed, blah blah blah, I'm dictating this, I'm telling you what to do, what you can't do, I'm telling you what you can watch, what you can't watch, blah blah blah. That's a dictator. All summed up. Miss Pauline Hanson can't even get her own party to work with the media. She hates the media. Wow, she sounds like Donald Trump. Maybe she should actually go back to jail, because she was actually found guilty of fraud. Voter fraud, it seems. And she should actually go back to jail again, because of the stunt she pulled at a hotel in Brisbane, where she was actually flying a drone. She had no permission, no nothing from the hotel management to actually fly a drone. It was a publicity stunt, and she actually broke the law. And yet, there is another story that we can dissect from The Guardian. Melbourne tenants should have had the choice over distressing mail from Pauline Hanson, councillor says. Yeah, actually, they were given a choice. Do you want this mail from Pauline Hanson? No. Though I really wish the councillor, Philip Lee Lou, would actually look at what happened and then go, wait, what? She said this about the tenants of the towers and lockdown for the week, yet she's sending stubby holders, which are paraphernalia, to already volatile and emotional tinderbox, ready to explode if they got them. Yeah. I'm sorry, Councillor Philip Lee Lou? I'm sorry, but maybe you should actually look at another job. Because you're representing the following committees and bodies: Audit and Risk Committee and Destination Melbourne. You're also Deputy Chair of the Arts, Culture and Heritage Portfolio and Deputy Chair of Knowledge Portfolio. So, if you are representative of the following committees and bodies, like Audit and Risk Committee, wouldn't those stubby holders actually be considered as a risk to an already volatile and emotional tinderbox set to explode if they did get them? Because it sounds to me like you just graduated from whatever college. Just to be on the council itself. And I don't even give two shits about you, mate. Considering that your investigation can actually be met with, yeah. See, this is Exhibit A to C. This is Exhibit D that you want to actually have investigated. Considering that Exhibit D would have been volatile to Exhibits A to or whatever on Melbourne Towers. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Philip Lely, but you just open your mouth, put your foot into it, in just like open mouth, insert foot. As everyone else says, you open mouth, you just insert foot or put your foot into it. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Nightclub King Nick Rushing confirms he's running for Melbourne Lord Mayor. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you're running a business and you would still be running a business, mate, you wouldn't be able to run for Lord Mayor if you get voted in as Lord Mayor and still run a business. You would have mayoral duties, but you would be able to go and do your nightclub business. And Philip Lilo actually comes up under that, so I'm hoping that Philip Lilo actually gets voted out for his stupidity in this situation. Because it would actually mean that he's a Liberal National Party member who actually doesn't give two shits. Because he's actually siding with Pauline Hanson over that it was actually controversial of the Melbourne City Council to actually not deliver those parcels, which again, I will say, are paraphernalia, to an already explosive and emotional tinderbox. Considering that Australia Post can't threaten legal action because people can actually threaten legal action against Australia Post when Australia Post was actually meant to make sure parcels and everything was delivered before Father's Day. So you can't have it both ways, Mr. Philip Lilo, because you just can't, okay? Your audit and risk. You're representing the Audit and Risk Committee. And you didn't even use that thing that is between your head, which is a brain. Well, I should say between your ears, which is a brain, because, between the head skull, two parts of the skull, is a brain. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually being investigated for his actually stupidity into actually not accessing the risk. City of Melbourne ceased its responsibility of overseeing delivery at the estate, and so we requested that Australia Post collect the parcels. The City of Melbourne suddenly withdrew its complaint from the Australian Federal Police. I wouldn't withdrew my complaint. How no? No. What Nick McDonald did was completely wrong as well. Sending a letter threatening to actually go to the police on Melbourne City Council when he can't say nothing because he's not even part of the council. He's part of the freaking post office that is actually supposed to be delivering mail on time before Father's Day. So, what is it? Are you going to do your job of audit and risk committee, part of it, or are you going to be Pauline Hanson's little lapdog that she actually can say, "Good boy, here's a treat, here's a handout"? Considering that Father's Day came and went, it was what? The 7th? No, the 6th. It was the 6th last week. Father's Day came and went. Not everyone got their packages until after Father's Day because Australia Post Senior Officer Christine Holgate was actually wanting to do favours for One Nation to actually get One Nation to stall the vote and such. Well, actually saying, yes, we'll make sure they're delivered. Miss Pauline Hanson, we'll make sure your stubby holes are delivered. Let's deliver them right now. No. They are soliciting a vote. Just like how Pauline Hanson with her stubby holders to the tenants back in July this year was soliciting votes and virtually just going, here's paraphernalia or such to a already dangerous and explosive tinderbox of emotions and such, because they would have just gone, the tenants would have asked for, well, let's cancel Pauline Hanson and the One Nation Party over this, because it should actually have gone to the Australian Federal Police. And I do mean it should have gone straight to the Australian Federal Police. I don't know why the Melbourne City Council, or the City of Melbourne Council, also lodged a complaint with the Australian Federal Police to investigate whether the delivery breached the Commonwealth Criminal Code. Actually, it does. It actually does breach the Commonwealth Criminal Code. And I can virtually pull that up. Commonwealth Criminal Code. Criminal Code Act 1995, Federal Register of Legislation. Purpose and application, yep. Says on guilt in respect of offences. Well, that's something Pauline Hanson didn't do. These omissions. Nope. Fault elements, intention, knowledge, recklessness. Oh, a person is reckless with respect to a circumstance if he or she is aware of a certain risk that the circumstance exists or will exist, and B, having regard to the circumstances known to him or her, it is unjustifiable to take the risk. Number 2, a person is reckless with respect to a result if A, he or she is aware of some risk that result will occur, and B, having regard to the circumstances known to him and her, it is unjustifiable to take the risk. 3, the question whether taking a risk is unjustifiable is one of fact if recklessness is a fault element for a physical element of an offence. Proof of intention, knowledge of, or recklessness will satisfy the fault element. Along with negligence as well, which Miss Pauline Hanson just didn't consider. Offences that do not specify fault elements. That's just if the law creating the offence does not specify a fault element for a physical element that consists only of conduct intention is the fault element of that physical element. If the law creating offence does not specify the fault element for a physical element that consists of a circumstance or a result, recklessness is the fault element of that physical element. Under subsection 5.4-4, recklessness can be established by proving intention, knowledge, or recklessness. So, yeah. Not to mention, this also involves circumstances involving lack of capacity, which is Division 7, which is children under 10. A child under 10 years old is not criminally responsible for an offence. So Miss Pauline Hanson actually has been attacking children under 10, children over 10 but under 14. Mental impairment, she's actually gone for that as well. So there's a whole lot being broken. Division 9 involving mistake or ignorance. Yeah, Pauline Hanson has actually broken this. Same with Christine Holgate, I might add. Mistake or ignorance of statute law, which is 9.3. A person can be criminally responsible for an offence even if, at the time of the conduct constituting the offence, he or she is mistaken about or ignorant of the existence or content of an act that deliberately or indirectly creates an offence or directly or indirectly affects the scope or operation of the offence. 9.3 subsection 2, subsection 1 does not apply and the person is not criminally responsible for the offence in those circumstances if the act is expressly to the contrary effect. Well, I can say first part of that, 9.3, Ms. Pauline Hanson has actually violated. Mistake or ignorance of subordinate legislation. Claim of right? No, that's not what we're looking for. Sentences involving external factors. Well, self-defense is pretty much straightforward. Ooh, here we are. Here we go. This is for the Division 11. This is 11.2a. Joint Commission. A person and at least one other party enter an agreement to commit an offence, and B, either subsection I of B, an offence is committed in accordance with the agreement within the meaning of subsection 2, or double I, an offence is committed in the course of carrying out the agreement within the meaning of subsection 3, the person is taken to have committed the joint offence referred to in whichever of subsection 2 or 3 applies and is punishable accordingly. Offence is committed in accordance with the agreement. Offence is committed in accordance with the agreement if the conduct of one or more parties in accordance with the agreement makes up for physical elements consisting of conduct of an offence, the joint offence, of the same type as the offence agreed to, and B, to the extent of the physical element of the joint offence consists of a result of conduct that arises from the conduct engaged, and C, to the extent that a physical element of the joint offence consists of a circumstance the conduct engaged in or a result of the conduct engaged in occurs in that circumstance. So, we actually can't, I could go on, but it is actually for the rest of the person to be found to be guilty of an offence, the agreement, and everything else. Well, wouldn't Christine Holgate and Pauline Hanson have entered into an agreement to actually get those stubby holders to the tenants, only to be found that A, it is actually a criminal act? So, yeah. That's virtually where we are with this stubby holder gate. Now, I don't know how this is all going to play out, but Pauline Hanson screwed up along with Christine Holgate, who was actually soliciting a vote but couldn't be bothered to make sure packages were actually delivered before Father's Day, which was the 6th of September, which was last week. That's pretty screwed up. Considering I've been waiting on a package from August, it's not arrived, it's been over 2 weeks, and the Australian Post said, oh, give it until the 4th. That was last week. 9 days ago. I put a complaint in on the 7th. Yep, you told me to contact you, package has not arrived. And then they contacted me again via, was it Facebook, I think, or something. Give it until Friday. If it hasn't arrived, please contact us. I gave them until 5 PM Friday. Never arrived. And now they're actually looking into it. And I actually had a project plan with the item after I reviewed it. Because I was actually going to see if some people on YouTube would actually like to 3D print that project for themselves to actually use. They do get the Kamen Rider Saber Wonder Books. I know I would be getting them. I may have to look at a few other options and such. Because, quite frankly, I am disappointed at the moment with the way Australia Post is being handled by someone who is incompetent and who actually has someone who doesn't actually understand that threatening to actually bring the police in on a matter that is actually a joint matter of a crime to actually get those parcels delivered can actually be grilled under oath. And that person would actually have to be under oath, because if they lie while under oath and they get found out about it later on, they can be arrested and charged for lying under oath to a committee. They can then be thrown in jail. They can be blacklisted from ever holding that position again or any other position in Australia. They won't be able to do much because they would actually have a criminal record as well. So, with that in mind, thank you for watching, and I will actually post all the stories below, so you can actually read and make up your own mind. Is Pauline Hanson in the wrong? Is Christine Holgate also in the wrong? We've actually tried to solicit a vote from Pauline Hanson. Is Pauline Hanson in the wrong for trying to solicit votes from over 100 people in Towers, considering that one flat was unoccupied and it was actually addressed to that flat? So I'm wondering, how the hell did Miss Hanson actually get those addresses when in fact she is not allowed to even get access to those addresses in the first place? So if she actually has someone on the inside of community housing who she can go to and ask, oh, I want the addresses for this place in Melbourne, or this place in Sydney, or this place in Perth, or this place in Western Australia, or this place anywhere in Australia, would that person also be counted as a accomplice to a crime? Leave your thoughts below, because that is the thing that most people don't actually understand or can actually see. This has to stop. And it should actually stop with Miss Pauline Hanson being arrested and charged, and the One Nation Party being blacklisted from ever coming back into power or being reformed, even under a different name. Also, I might roast Clive Palmer, I should say. Yeah, Clive Palmer. Considering he actually did a little something that was a bit naughty in the music industry by using Twisted Sister's We're Not Gonna Take It because he thought it was, let's say, Come All Ye Faithful music, when it is actually, if you listen to Come All Ye Faithful, you would hear We Are Not Going to Take It, because the original piece for Come All Ye Faithful cannot actually be produced anymore. So, that's all up for you to discuss in the comments. Or, if you think that Pauline Hanson should actually be removed from the Senate, along with One Nation, removed, and those members removed from where they are, then, in my opinion, they should all be removed completely from office and from the Senate and from ever actually being or ever applying for any other party. And this Philip Lee Lau should actually be investigated for not actually doing what he is representing. Because he is representing one body, which is the risk and attribute, or I forgot it already. Damn it! I had it before, and now I just completely lost it. What he was actually part of what he was representing. Yeah, Audit and Risk Committee, because he is actually a representative for that committee. If he can't actually do a job that he's representing, he's the representative of, then maybe he should actually look at not being a councilman anymore. No offense, but if you are representing the Audit and Risk Committee, shut up Homer, shut up iPad. If you are representing the Committee of Risk and Audit, or Audit and Risk Committee, isn't it your job to actually look into, is it what Miss Pauline Hanson sent as a risk? Because quite frankly, I find that as a risk. And I'm ending here, bit over 40 minutes long. This was the, what was it, the 6th attempt of this video. So, comments and such down below on what you think, because soliciting votes is actually a criminal offense, no matter how you look at it. Ooh, excuse me. And virtually holding up packages that are supposed to have been delivered before Father's Day, that can actually be considered a criminal offense, because you're actually stopping the mail because you want votes. So, I'm ending here. Leave your comments below, and you can actually check out the stories for yourselves as well. Because there is a 1, 2, 3, 4 stories. I'm not going to include the one from Pauline Hanson from July, because that's already been discussed in one video. So, I'm going to watch a few YouTube videos. On what I'm studying. So, I don't know what else. I mean, I am planning on roasting Clive Palmer, his use of Twisted Sister's We're Not Gonna Take It. So that should be a good video. So, I'll see you all next video.